All right, so now you've got your MetaMask wallet. You've been to the website and the Discord of the project that you're thinking of buying in. You've also been to their Twitter, which we'll also cover. And now basically you want to go onto Opensea. So Opensea, the best way I've heard it explained is the eBay of NFTs. It's where you're going to buy projects that have already been minted. Yesterday we discussed about minting an NFT and how to do that from contract. And that's for projects that haven't yet been launched or are soon to be launched. When a project has been launched, any of the big names in the news like Mutant APR Club, Board APR Club, Cool Cats, all of those have obviously already been minted out, and you would then come to OpenSea. So this is the address here, opensea.io. And you'll go there, and you'll see if you just look at the front page, it's telling you notable drops. Let's look. Let's do the motorcar one. Which one would you have chosen?
I was just curious what that the one on the left was there. I'm not really sure what they were going for.
Look, this is a bit of a strange one, this Reactor Motors. Let's say My Pet Hooligan. It's a project that I love, and I've got experience with it. So I find this project, My Pet Hooligan, and I first of all want to make sure that this is the legitimate page. Now, often a project will have a tick like I showed you yesterday over here being verified. This one does not. This does not necessarily mean that this is not the official My Pet Hooligan page. It is actually. There is a delay sometimes in OpenSea giving collections that blue tick, and sometimes for whatever OpenSea's reasons are, they don't give that blue tick. I'm sure My Pet Hooligan will get it. It's a relatively new project, but it doesn't for now. So I'm a bit concerned if I'm a newbie. I don't see the blue tick. That must be a red flag. So I want to see who it's created by. So here it's created by AMGI, which I know that it is. And if you look on this page, looking at the floor price and the fact that there's been transactions, a lot of transactions at 0.75, 0.85, and there are so many created, that gives me a bit of comfort. I then also go back to the page here. I can see 7,500 ETH traded. You're not going to see more than 1,000 ETH with the best scam in the whole world. So if you see 7,500, that's a good thing. You also see there's 8,900 items here. Usually you won't see that many if it's a scam. And you can also see the unique owners of those 8,900. There's 5,200 people who own at least one of them. Some of them will own two. Now, when looking at a new project, you typically want to see 50% here. So 4,500 at least. So they've got close to a 60% owner distribution. These are not hard. Yeah, it is. These are not hard and fast rules. There's some really great projects that will maybe only have a 30% to begin with, and that changes in time. But generally speaking, you do want to see at least 50% here, especially if it's one of your first NFTs. Basically, if you see less than that, it means that there might be a couple of wallets that are holding hundreds or even thousands, and at any stage, if they wanted to, they could sell all of theirs and bring the price down. Whereas if you have a 60%, 50 to 60 to 70 to 80% owner distribution, you need all those people in cahoots to do the same thing, which sort of gives you a bit of a buffer against wild swings, right, of the price. Then the nice thing about OpenSea, you've got your collection here. You'll see the ones with a pinkish purple thing is something called WETH. You can convert ETH to WETH, and this is for putting offers in. So it's an auction. It's not a buy now. And we'll actually do another show completely on that. But for now, we're just focusing on buy now. So if I click under buy now here, it only shows me what's available to purchase immediately. So first thing I see here is the amount of items for sale. So that's actually quite a reassuring number, because if you think about it, there's 8,900 total NFTs and only 1,291 of them are for sale. So I like that. That's quite a good number. The lower that number is, the better. And then I can look here, the cheapest one, which is called the floor one, and this is what's giving you that floor price that we saw on the previous page, is 1.1 ETH. And then as you go up, you see the different prices over here. Now, let's say I want a floor one. I'm going to just click on it. I'm going to just open it in a new window for you guys. Again, here we can see as part of that collection, that's who the owner is. And if we wanted to buy now, we would literally click here. I'm not going to actually do it, but I just want to show you so you can know what to expect. Close your eyes, ETH. I'm joking. It's just stars. I have to log in. I've clicked buy now. Let's just do this.
So that guys is connecting your MetaMask wallet. What Philip just
Yeah,
did there is he connected his wallet to Opensea so he can then interact with the contracts and potentially purchase this NFT.
100%. Well, someone has actually just taken it.
Oh, wow.
Off the floor.
You literally just, wow, that was fast.
Yeah, because if you look here, the difference between 1.1 and 1.18 is 0.07. That's a substantial difference. You know, straight away, the floor price is now going to be 1.18. If we refresh, let's check if sometimes this lags behind on OpenSea. It can take, you see now it's showing 1.1, even though we know that this one has been sold. But if we refresh in a few minutes again, it will now be showing 1.18. But let's use this guy as an example. We look here and we look at the properties, and this is what makes up, these are the attributes of it that make up the rarity of the item. So you can see 1% of them have this, what's called femme pink, the color. That's the fur. And 1% have the cipher suit, this suit over here. So it might be a good idea to see what the floor is for NFTs of those particular attributes. So I've just opened in a new window, one for femme fur. Again, these are bids, so I'm just going to sort both of these by now.
This is one of my favorite things to do. Go on OpenSea and just pick the attributes I like and basically build your perfect NFT and see how much it's worth, and maybe I can buy it.
So exactly. So, I mean, if you look here, that guy who just bought it for 1.1 seems to have gotten quite a good deal. There was a big difference between his price and the next one for sale. And if you look here, the cheapest one for sale with this pink femme fur is 1.36. All right. And if we look here on the shirt, the cheapest one with the shirt that's for sale is 1.55. So straight away, he's gotten, you know, if the collection doesn't go down, he's gotten one that's worth more than what he paid.
Quite rare.
And if you look here, he actually just listed it for 2 ETH over here. So he knew that. If you look, that's 7844. That's the one that we were looking at here, 7844. We tried to buy it. It's now not for sale anymore. And he's quickly listed it at 2. So I think that's a bit high. I don't think he'll get that unless the collection goes up in value, which it very well might. But if I refresh it now, there we go. So he's just trying to flip this. He saw what we were seeing. And yeah, that's quite interesting to see it being bought and listed so quickly live.
Yeah, live in time. That's just really a quick flip he's trying to go for, which is fine.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in the game to do that.
I mean, he could have even just, obviously he's working off the shirt attribute where the floor was 1.5. But if he wanted to really flip it quickly, he could just put it in for 1.49 and that would be sold pretty quickly because the floor on those was 1.5. But I've closed
maybe they paid a fortune in gas and they're just trying to make, you know what I mean? Like when they bought it, what did they buy it at? 1.3 or something?
No, so 1.1. 1.1 and gas is 150. Okay. So at most he paid 0.02 for gas at the very most. Yeah. So I mean, there he saw the traits, and so that's quite exciting. So that's how you go in a collection. Now another thing you want to look at is how many have to sell in order for this to increase in price, and that's we call it the floor is thin. And here the floor is quite thin because from 1.1 to almost 1.4 is only 16 NFTs. Well, it's actually another line there. So what's that? 24 NFTs. And then you can see it carries on. You can also, on the left-hand side here, you can say how many are for sale between 1 and 2. In other words, how many have to be sold for me to that's US dollar, sorry. for me to double my investment. How many need to be sold? So let it load. We'll see. Okay, so there's 350 to double my investment. Now, if I'm thinking of buying another collection, maybe it's worth comparing that. Let's say that collection is 0.2. Search how many are for sale between 0.2 and 0.4 and compare. And then you can tell which floor is thinner, which is a nice thing to do. Another thing that I like to look at is the activity. So you click this tab over here. First thing I want to look at is sales, the actual sales that have gone through. Here you can see here's our guy that was sold at 1.1 6 minutes ago. And you can see that the sales are not that many. There's 1, 2 in the last 33 minutes, 2 the hour before that, 1. So sales are definitely slowing down. And this shows that as well. You can see on the 1st of January, there was 323 sales. On the 2nd of January, there was 150. Now, yesterday, 106. And today, so far, 55. So slowing down a bit. Interesting to see that the price hasn't dropped so much. That basically means that guys are buying in this collection. They're not just buying the floor ones. And there's an example of a rare one that someone paid an hour ago, 6.5 ETH. Someone paid 2 ETH there, 3 ETH over there, 4 ETH almost over there, and so on. Okay, so we want to see the sales. So there's actually not that many sales. And this is, in my opinion, a really good project, not financial advice. If we look here, listings, how many people are trying to list, and you can see here a lot. So for me, I like to compare sales to listing. Again, I want to look which are doing at the floor price. Here's one at the floor price, 1.2. Here's another one at the floor price 9 minutes ago, 1.1, another one near the floor price. So already we've got 3 people have listed in the last 10 minutes, but only 2 people have sold in the last half an hour, which means that this price, in my opinion, is going to be dropping in the next immediate future. And I wouldn't necessarily buy into this collection right this second. I would continue watching it, check back in a few hours, see what it is. So that's just looking at one project on Opensea. And I think what we'll do, Eth, is another day what we'll do is a proper deep dive into Opensea, just Opensea, and dive really deep into it, everything you can think of. But for now, I think that gives you a good basic understanding.
I really liked that strategy you gave there of finding how you would double your investment, looking between the 1 ETH to the 2 ETH. And that's a really great strategy that I personally had never thought of. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. And that's a metric that you can compare. Let's say I'm thinking of 3 different projects. I might want to buy a Lazy Lion. I might want to buy a My Pet Hooligan. And I might want to buy a third one. Do that same metric on all 3 and see which one has got the thinnest floor to determine the thinnest floor side of it. And that gives you at least some guidance from that perspective. But again, looking at the activity and how many sales in the last 10 minutes or an hour, I typically want to see a few sales in the last 10 minutes if I want to buy, because then I know the price is going up, especially if there's not many people listing.
Yeah, there's a ton of data there that you can really sink your teeth into. So yeah, I think a deep dive is going to be needed.